Welcome to Blooming Wildwood Homestead. It is definitely the time of year where we are starting seeds, and some of those seeds need a little extra warmth in order to germinate. So to do that, we are going to put together something that can hold the seedling heat mat on the type of rack that I'm using. Some people use these types of heat mats and they just lay them out on their piece of plywood or on their rack that they're using because the rack is flat enough that it can do that. But with the type of rack that I have for my grow lights, it has wide slats underneath and it's not going to be feasible for me to just lay out a heat mat and make that work. So we're going to put together something that can contain the heat mat and make it very usable for my purpose, especially with this grow light. So if you have a similar type of situation, hopefully this can give you an idea of something you can use. Today we are going to be starting some pepper seeds. And I don't know what has happened this year, but the time has completely gotten away from me. I've been working on trying to do a little something every night, and that's been helpful. However, I still have a lot of projects that are not being seen through to completion, and getting my peppers planted is one of them. I put together the soil blocks quite a few days ago, and I should have gotten the peppers started at that time, but I did not. And right now I'm running at least a week behind the bare minimum of where I should be. So I'm a little bit nervous about whether or not I'm going to get the production that I need, but we're gonna give it a go. 1 week is not too bad. I just want to make sure that I'm giving it a lot of extra TLC. I'd wanted to do a little experiment for you and do an example of one set of seeds with the heat mat and one set without, so you could see the difference between the two. But since we are so short on time this year, that experiment is not going to happen. Let me know if that's something that you would like to see down below. And I do have some herbs and things that I'll be starting later that require heat. We could maybe do an experiment with those if that's something that you're interested in seeing. All right, so to get started, I'm going to go ahead and plant my seeds, get the seed tray ready to go, and then I'll show you how we're going to set up the heat mat. So you're going to want to start with a seed mat. This particular one that I have is from Amazon. I had picked these up. I'll link down below to either the same one or one that is similar. And you can get these any place, any nurseries or different places like that. You might just want to check for prices and see where you can get the best deal. All right, so when you get your heat mat, it looks something like this, and this one came with 2 mats in it, which was nice. They've been rolled for a while, so. All right, so here's the thing with the heat mats. It works best if you have them set up so that there's a dome over the top. My seed starting trays do not have domes, so, you know, we're just going to do the best we can here with what we've got. When they come in a set, they often have the seed starting trays. Now, because we're working with electricity, you don't want it to directly have water on the mat. All right, so to set this up, I need the heat mat to have a place for the electrical cord to go through. And I also need to make sure that the water is contained. When I water, it's contained on in the seed tray and not on, it doesn't get on the heat mat. The other thing is, since I don't have the dome situation for this particular thing, we're going to use materials that I already have around in order to minimize cost and make it functional for what I need. So some of these old trays, they end up getting kind of flimsy. You'll notice here it's gotten some holes in it, and this just naturally happens with wear and tear after you've had them for quite some time. But rather than throw these away, oftentimes we can use these in the greenhouse just to provide some extra support as we carry plants to and fro, and it doesn't matter if the water drips out there. But when I'm doing something in the house, these couldn't be used underneath the soil blocks where the water could drip through and leak. But we're going to modify this just a touch so that we can use this to hold the heat mat, because you can see here it's going to fit in here nicely. And then we're going to cut a hole in the corner over here, so that the cord can poke through and I can plug it into the outlet. So I'm just kind of measuring to see where that hole needs to be. So right here is where I want to put that hole. And I'm gonna go ahead and cut. I know it has one here, but that's not going to fit the need. So I'm going to cut a small hole in this corner. You could use scissors, and since it has a hole, that probably could work. I'm going to use a knife. Do be careful that you don't cut yourself. Mostly speaking to myself here. We'll try to avoid any major accidents on camera. You always want to make sure that you store these guys with the blade inside so that you don't accidentally cut yourself. Or if you have a retractable one, that's even better. Okay. So now we want to put that hole right in here. And that should do the trick. Let's test. Okay, now we have our heat mat, and we've got the spot for the cord to come out. I'm going to take my tray and lay that on top. And like I said, if I had a dome, I would put one over the top. I used to have some for the styrofoam trays that I have, but I don't know. Those have been missing for quite some time. And we should be ready to put this on the rack. I'm gonna go ahead and do that a second time with my other heat mat. All right, we've cleaned another one. This one doesn't have as large of holes in it, but when you hold it up to the light, you can see that it does have some little pricks of a hole in the corner and whatnot. And that's actually the corner we're going to cut. Since I already know about where that needs to be, I'm going to go ahead and trim that up. It is definitely not perfect, but it will do the job. And now I have heat mats under my soil blocks. And you can see here, it's this rack situation that makes it so complicated to be able to use heat mats without something else underneath. I'm gonna lower the light and we'll be good to go. I hope today's video was a help to you. If it was, please click like, and I'd love to have you subscribe and be part of our community here at Blooming Wildwood Homestead. Until next time, bye everyone.